We're going to be doing a little test to see how much of a difference changing the pickups in my guitar makes. I've watched other people do shootout tests between pickups, and the overall difference, I noticed it, but it wasn't really make or break because all the pickups were kind of even quality. I recently just got this new Ibanez RG7, pretty standard RG, nothing too expensive or fancy. I tested this yesterday, and actually, I was fairly impressed by how the stock pickup sounded. But I really like the Seymour Duncan pickups. This is the Nazgul Sentient Duo. So I'm going to take these out. We're going to do a little tone test on these stock pickups. Exact same arrangement. We're going to play it on the bridge pickup. We're going to do an amp sim and a tube amp recording. Then switch the pickups out, do the exact same tones. All right, so here we are, teleported inside of Cubase. I thought about doing a little bit of visual playing along with this for you guys, but we're going to be using our ears, not our eyes, and I think those can be kind of distracting. So here's the control group. These are the Seymour Duncan pickups in my old RG7. These are being run through an amp sim. This is actually the Buried Alive amp sim. I got this on when it first came out, so I got it for a discount. So that's what we're running it through. All the same settings for all of the channels. Same thing coming out of my tube amp. I actually have a simulated cab out on the back, so I just took my amp head and plugged it straight into my interface, and that's what you're hearing here. To avoid confusion, I'm going to be putting the amp sims up against the amp sims and the tubes up against the tubes. So we're not going to be putting the amp sim up against the tube, because to me that doesn't make any sense because they're trying to achieve two different things. Alright, so there you go. That's what we're working with. That's what we're starting off with. Now time to take the old pickups and put those Seymour Duncans in my new guitar. See you guys in a little bit. So this part was actually like super annoying, to be honest with you. I've never worked on one of my own guitars before, and you can see I had to unsolder everything. I'm pulling out the cord through the body here. That part was pretty simple. I just bought some cheap soldering iron off of Amazon. But these pickups were weird, the stock pickups for Ibanez, because the color scheme was slightly different between the Seymour Duncan and the Ibanez. And when I went to go look up diagrams on the Seymour Duncan website, there were just so many of them. And it ended up being kind of confusing. Also, you can see here the cavity. I'm chiseling some of it out because the cavity was not deep enough for the Seymour Duncans. So I had to, yeah, get rid of some of that wood, and maybe a little bit nervous, but it came out all right. And I ended up just putting some black stain that I had from another project I recently did. But anyways, the wiring diagrams were weird, so I ended up calling Seymour Duncan. They gave me a wiring diagram. Even that didn't end up helping me, so I just went along with the way the circuit board on my selector switch was set up, because the diagram that they gave me and the hardware for my guitar was completely different. So I ended up just following the hardware in my guitar and ended up working fine. Alright, so here we go. Time for the shootout. Got all my takes here. Let me run you through what everything is. These first two sets of 4 here are my old black RG7 with the Seymour Duncan pickups in it. The next 2 sets of 4 are my new guitar with the stock pickups in it. Then the next 2 sets of 4 are my new guitar with the Seymour Duncan pickups in it. So, the first point I want to make here is that if people tell you that the same pickups and 2 different guitars are going to sound the same, no, that is not true. Here's the Seymour Duncans in my old RG7 with the amp sim. And here's the same pickups in my new guitar. To my ear, there is a huge difference between how the exact same pickups sound in my old guitar versus my new guitar. So don't let anybody tell you, at least in my opinion, that guitars don't change how your pickup's going to sound, because to me, it does change it. Make sure you're listening on a good pair of speakers or headphones so you can really hear what's going on. Moving on from that, let's take a listen to my new guitar with the stock pickups in it running through the amp sim. Now the Seymour Duncans. Alright, now let's do the same exact thing, but with the tube amp. So here's the stock pickups on my new guitar running through the tube amp. Seymour Duncans on the tube amp. In my opinion, they do sound different. It does affect your tone a decent amount. Is it going to be the ultimate factor in determining your guitar tone? No, I don't think so. Of course, you always have to take into account what kind of amp you're playing through, what kind of speaker cabinet you're playing through, what kind of amp simulator you're playing through, what kind of guitar you're playing through, what kind of player is playing the guitar, what kind of pick do you have? I mean, what kind of chord do you have? All these, what kind of strings, all these things, they kind of add up a little bit. But I would say the biggest thing for me is what kind of amp we're using, what kind of speakers is it coming out of, and how good are you at playing. Those are the biggest things that I think that determine guitar tone. I do think changing your pickups could definitely give you an edge or put you more in a direction that you're wanting to go. And I don't know. I don't think it's overrated. I don't think it's like, oh, there's barely any difference. Now, when it comes to putting guitars in a mix, I don't know if that difference would be magnified or it would be just kind of minuscule, but in my opinion, just as a guitar player, just listening to only the guitar by itself back to back, you can hear the difference. You can go back in the video and flip between the different takes and hear for yourself with a good pair of speakers or headphones and hear that difference, in my opinion. Before we close out today's video, I just wanted to show you how the tube sounds on my old guitar with the Seymour Duncans in it and how it sounds with the exact same pickups going through the tube amp on my new guitar with the same Seymour Duncan pickups. So here's the Seymour Duncans of the old guitar. Seymour Duncans on the new guitar. Old guitar again. I don't know. To me, there is a clear difference. Same pickups, different guitar, sounds different, same exact settings, same exact amp. I gain matched them to the best I could to my ear and on the meters and everything. So, I don't know. You guys draw your own conclusions. Do guitar pickups make a big difference in your tone? Tell me down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. I think I'm going to do another pickup video exactly like this on my RG8. I just sent it off to go get some new Fishman Fluence Moderns put in it, so make sure if you like this video, keep a lookout for that one because it's coming soon. Alright guys, see you later.